Hey guys, it's Yada and welcome back to a new and improved updated face tutorial. So starting off, these are the supplies that I'm going to be using, and if you want more information on these supplies, feel free to check out the link in my bio on my Amazon storefront. So without further ado, let's get into the video. We are going to start off with our guidelines. So I'm going to lightly sketch out a circle, and I'm going to do a line down the middle of my circle, and then I'm going to do a horizontal line across the bottom of my circle. So remember, when you're doing guidelines, you're going to make it very light so you can make room for mistakes if you have them. You can just literally just erase and not have residue on your paper. So next, I'm just sketching out the shape of my face by starting on the sides of the circle and just like making a straight line down, and then as I go further down, I'm gonna curve in my jawline and just kind of sketch that out over there until I am satisfied with my results. Now I'm starting in the middle of my jawline and drawing a line down and curving it out to make the shape of my neck. Now on that line that we did horizontally earlier, I'm going to start towards like the top of that line, and then I'm going to sketch out my ear. And then when I did the other one, I just realized that I forgot the bottom part of that guideline, so it ended up being bigger than I intended it to be, and it was looking a little bit lopsided, but no biggie. Just draw a line from the bottom part of the first ear that we drew to the other side like we did on the top to make your ears even sized. So now to draw the position of our eyes, as you can see, I drew two lines to indicate the distance I want my eyes to be. And then right behind them, I just sketched slightly little circles to help me figure out where I want my eyes. A little bit past the starting point of where our eyes are, you're going to draw a line on each side going straight down, and then lightly sketch a circle, and that's where we're going to put our nose. So now for the mouth placement, it's going to be very similar for how you did your nose, except that you start in the middle of your eye guidelines on each side and just draw those lines. Now you're just lightly sketching your circle, and make sure it's slightly above your chin, a little bit below your nose. For the eyebrows, we're just starting at that line that we made for the eyes, and we're going to just make an arch towards the other side of your eye guideline. Stop right across from it, and then just do that on the other side. And then the shape of your brows also do determine how your arch will look like, but depending on how straight your brows are, that will determine how little of an arch will appear on your brows, or whether or not you have an arch at all. Next, we are going to be sketching out our features inside of those guidelines that we created. When I draw eyes, I kind of like to picture kind of like drawing an almond, but except, you know, it's curvy at the end, and like I'm adding my little style to it. So I almost forgot this step. When you are drawing the other eye, or before you draw the other eye, you're just going to sketch a light horizontal line from the first eye towards the other side, just so that both of your eyes are the same size. As for our nose, the nose is pretty much simple, more than people make it out to be. I just start off with like the middle part of my nose and kind of like curve that out, and then I go upward, use that line that we drew earlier, and sketch out my nostrils, and then I go right below my nostrils and just like curve out the sides of my nose. Like I said in the previous tip, make sure your lines are precise, make sure that they're neat, and you should be good in this step. So when it comes to drawing, I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. I should have drew my irises in when we were sketching our eyes, but that's okay. So yeah, just draw little half circles when it comes to the irises. Don't draw them too big, don't draw them too small. Just make sure that they like fit right in your eye. And here, I'm just using the shape of my eye to draw my eyelids. Mostly the shape of your eyelids will be determined by the shape of your eye. Just kind of follow that line and, make little spaces in between for stylistic reasons. Now for my lips, I like to start off sketching both the corners of my lips. And then I sketch out the middle of my lips. And then I make my way towards the Cupid's bow, and I just like to make I don't really know how to explain it, but I like to make my lines like curvy and add a little bit more spice to it. Don't just make extremely blunt lines. Try to be creative with your line art. The curvier you make your lines for your lips, it creates that plump illusion. So here I am, starting in the middle, sketching my bottom lip, and then I kind of curve it out on the top, and then I go into the corners of my lips, and then I just draw a line kind of slanting down toward my bottom lip or inside of my bottom lip. And then I just drew this line across because I realized that my ears were different sizes, so I went ahead and I fixed that. Next, this is where we're going to be sculpting out our brows. So I like to start off with short, light strokes of hair in front of my brows, going up and kind of tilting towards the end of the brow. And then now I'm just completing the top half of my brow shape by basically just following the bottom shape that we did earlier when we were doing the guidelines for the brows. Now this is my favorite step. Erase the guidelines. And this is why it's so important to make sure that you're not making harsh lines in the beginning, because you have to be able to do this step. It's very mandatory, and yeah, hope you guys lock that in. Okay, here I'm just carving out my ear. I will put a reference photo in for you guys. It's just pretty much just following, the bone structure of an ear, and I kind of just do that. And it's not really mandatory to sketch out ears, especially when you're doing a hairstyle that is covering up your ears, but it is nice to make your character look more human, and it kind of does look weird when you don't draw ears. Now this is the part where I sketch out my brows. Basically just adding straight hairs leaning towards the end of my brow, and I'm just making it a little bit more fuller as I go towards the back to create kind of a ombre or gradient effect. And yeah, just make sure that your eyebrows are darker as you go towards the end, and just fill them out more fuller towards the end than in the front. Now that middle line was not supposed to be there. It was definitely supposed to be erased with the rest of the guidelines. So I'm just kind of cleaning up my face a little bit more so I could start sketching out my hair. And I'm also cleaning up the top part of my head and completing my head shape because I'm gonna be doing a slick back hairstyle. And yeah. So quick introduction to how I'm going to be doing my hair. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a slick back. I'm just sketching out my middle part and then sketching out the shape of my hair and how it's going to look like on my head. And that step is going to be like, you know, a light sketched step. So make sure your lines are light on this part. So if you do mess up the shape, you can always erase it and you can always sketch it out again. And basically what I'm doing here is I am very lightly shading in my face, like basically every part of my face except for obviously the eyes because you want to keep that white. And yeah, I'm just sketching, shading my features, including my neck. And when I'm getting ready to shade my hair, I make sure to shade it darker than my face. Oh yeah, and this is the part where I usually shade in my irises. My style is more like a simple realistic style or like a semi-realistic style. So personally me, I don't really go into detail on my irises. I just color it full on and, you know, add highlight to it. That's just my style. Now that I'm done shading every part of my face and hair, I go in with my blending stump and then I basically just lightly blend every area that I shaded, but be very careful to not blend super harsh because that can also show up on your paper. After blending my hair, I'm just gonna go back and redefine where my lines were from my hairline, and then I'm gonna make my middle part. Now in this next process, all I'm doing is going over my shadows and my dark areas and blending areas like my upper lip, around my eyes, my nose, my cheeks, underneath my chin, and just like bringing definition to the piece. after I've added all my shadows, I usually go in with my eraser and then I erase the inner corners of my eyes. Especially when I'm doing a character with makeup, I like to add like that makeup effect. So I erase the under corners of my eyes, make sure to do that lightly, and I erase around the lips, the nose bridge, and underneath the eyebrows, the forehead, the chin. Just give it more of like a natural look. And then after I've erased and created all of my highlights, I'm taking my blending stump, and then all the areas that I pretty much erased the pigment off of, I'm going in very, very lightly with my blending stump. I'm blending those areas and just like making sure to kind of like erase evidence of the fact that I erased those areas, if that makes sense. I don't know, but yeah, you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, y'all, this is the part where I'm sketching out the eyeliner, and I'm gonna start with my lashes. For the eyeliner, you're just sketching over the top eyelid and or the bottom eyelid, and just like making like a very thick line while kind of like curving it out towards the end. Okay, y'all, so I made a little preview of how I sketch each individual lash clusters, and like how I sketch my lashes on an eyelid. And the best that I can describe it is just like a bunch of little C's that are like tilted upwards, and like your pencil pressure gets a little bit lighter towards the end. So kind of like a flicking motion of your hand. Make sure to not put too much pencil pressure on each individual lash, and kind of like flow free with it a little bit. And then here I am just like making a cluster. You can see just me bunching a whole bunch of them together, and then now I'm just demonstrating to you how I do it on a lash. And then as you will see, I leave gaps in between each cluster of lash just so that it looks like a little bit more realistic, and so my eyelashes pop out that way. And then sometimes, depending on the style of the lashes that I do some short ones mixed with some long ones, either or. And then you can see that towards the end of the lashes, it's facing one direction. In the middle of the lash, it will go upward or it will be straight. And then towards the other side of the lash, it will be facing that direction. As I'm doing my lashes on my bottom eyelid, I like to make sure that the hairs are a little bit thinner and that I'm spacing out my lash clusters a little bit more. And then you can see me right here just sketching out the waterline, which I should have done in the beginning, but it's okay. I'm just sketching that out, and then, adding lashes on top of that. So now, next I'm going to be adding a little bit more detail to my lips. I'm erasing the middle part of my lip to make a little bit of like a gradient effect. Now I'm just going out to the outer edges of my lips, adding a little bit more shading details, just like drawing the lip line, blending in the shaded areas with the rest of my lip. And then, like I said earlier, we're just going for a simple basic slick back look. Basically I'm just going to go into the corners of each side and then start my hairs. Then I'm going towards the hairline, and then I'm not lightly, but like mildly, I would say, sketch my hairs, because you don't want to do it too hard. So I'm sketching my hair each towards the other side, and then that middle part is going to be where the lighter section of hair is going to be, to make like kind of like a shine effect. And then for the lighter section, you just want to lightly go over with your pencil and then sketch out those parts of your hair. And then now I'm just taking my pencil and then very lightly sketching the edges and just lightly doing it around the hairline. If you're struggling with like edges, using a reference photo definitely works, because it does take time to, in general, know how to style the hair that you're drawing or make it look realistic or lifelike. So I definitely recommend that. Okay, y'all, so if you made it this far, we are in the last step, which is basically just having fun, adding your details, adding your highlight. So what I do is I take my white gel pen and then I go over the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, my eyes, and the inner corners of my eyes, as well as my lip. I love for my lips to have that glossy effect, so I just like do little squigglies on my lips. Reference photos definitely help. Usually after the highlight, I do my beauty marks and moles just for like that little pop of realism. But yeah, that completes this tutorial. If you guys made it this far, drop a heart in the comment, and thank you guys for watching so much, and I love all of you guys. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Thank you guys, love you guys, bye.